Hello and welcome to Swimrun Live with me, Ville Engberg, and as always, the lovely Nancy Heslin. Nancy, how
Hi.
you been?
I've been amazing. I can't believe that it's the first time we're seeing each other and it's already the end of January. Well, in France, I'm allowed to say Bonne année, Happy New Year until the end of the month, Happy New Year. Do you have any resolutions this year that you're working on, Villa?
Yeah, of course. What would New Year's be without resolution pulled out in the last 5 minutes of the old year? This year, I am focusing on building some muscle. I would say I want to go to the gym. I've been in the endurance game for so long. I'm tall and lanky, and I think, hey, why not try out going to the gym and pumping some iron? How about
Wow.
you, Nancy?
Yeah, funnily, I kind of have a similar goal. My goal this year is to work on my core because I do the rowing, the swim running, and swimming. But I think that I stopped doing like weight training a couple of years ago. So my goal is in France, what they call a six pack is called a tablé de chocolat, like a chocolate bar. And at the moment, the only chocolate bars I have are in my fridge. So my goal is to actually I'm gonna have a tablé de chocolat, really work on the core, which I think is a mental and physical advantage. Yeah. So I think actually this episode might even help me get along those goals. So why don't you take us through what's going to happen tonight?
Yeah, so to get the tableau chocolat, today I'll be talking about how to pick your distance going into swimrun. So I'm going to talk about race length, the course profiles, and how to think about the swim to run ratio. Also, we have a couple of videos talking to some new fresh people into swimrun with you, Nancy. So let's go.
So I actually talked to a friend of mine. She works with my husband in Monaco. And because you wanted to talk about distances and we're really into this subject this episode, she really brought something to mind for me that I thought would be great to interject into this. She's doing her first Ironman. And so I wanted to know what made her go for that distance because, it's really hard to know. I started sports like maybe 10 years ago, and for some reason, I've only stuck with endurance distances. I started with a half Ironman, then I went to an Ironman, and then I ran into the swim run stuff, which is crazy distances. So, what I'm looking forward to hearing from you tonight, Villa, is talking about the advantage of doing some of the shorter ones, and this is what I brought with Jenny. I was like, why are you going for like such a big goal? So let's listen to the video and see what her sports background is and what made her set this goal and this distance for 2022. So we are talking with Jenny today, who has just come back from a long bike ride training on a Sunday. And as this week's episode, we are speaking about choosing distances and setting goals. Jenny has just signed up for the Nice Ironman in June. So we're going to ask just a few questions to our friend Jenny about what's happening. So Jenny, tell us first of all, what made you sign up for the full Ironman distance in Nice this summer? And also, like, what kind of races have you done in the past? What kind of distances?
Okay, so I've signed up to do the Nice Ironman because I've always kind of had that niggle at the back of my head that maybe I should do one. And it's always kind of been there, and I thought, well, why not this year? I'm 40 this year, so I thought it'd be a good idea to do one. And also, whilst I'm living in this part of the world, which is a really beautiful place to train in, like it's really good for cycling around here. It's well renowned for that, and we've got the sea here, and yeah, it's a really nice place to run as well. So,
Except for the motorcycles.
it's a good place to do it.
So what races have you done in distances before, running or triathlons?
Okay, so my background is in running and like endurance running, really. Like as a child and teenager and as a student and all my life, really, I've ran competitively in long distance races, mainly cross country and fell racing, and when I lived in Asia in the jungles and stuff like that. But I'm quite new to cycling. I got my first road bike 2 years ago, just over. So I'm still learning a lot and working at my cycling. And swimming, I used to swim when I was younger, but I've had a big gap. Kind of I swam at school, and then kind of just got much more into running, and so stopped swimming. So I'm getting back into that. So competitively with cycling and swimming, I've done very little in the last kind of 20 years.
Wow.
But
Okay.
running, I've done. That's definitely my strength, and that's kind of where I've done a lot of races.
Okay, so thinking about the Ironman, what are you thinking? Have you set some specific time goals? What is your biggest strength, and what are you most concerned about?
I think my biggest strength will be that, well, hopefully, is that on the run I will still feel strong, maybe when hopefully other people usually struggle at that stage, because that's my background, I think. And I've ran marathons before, and I've done long distance off-road stuff. I think I'll be okay with that. A weakness and where I'm struggled, well, I think getting the fueling right for the whole event will be really difficult, and I'm going to need some help with that, and making sure I've got enough energy at the end. Not getting a puncture on the bike, because I'm really rubbish at changing those, so hopefully that'll be okay. With the swim, I've never done that distance of swim before in the sea. I have in a lake, but not in the sea in a race. So yeah, I guess there's just the challenges of not knowing exactly what the conditions will be. But yeah,
Okay.
we shall see. And obviously with COVID at the moment, just aware that I need to be careful that I don't catch COVID anytime near the event, or ideally not for training, but that's not so bad if it happens. But yeah, obviously near the event I'm going to be extra careful to
What do you
to not
think
get it.
your fastest of the three disciplines is going to be?
The run, I think, for sure.
And the hardest?
Probably the swim.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I would have thought so.
So you are going to do some specific training with us and share along the way how that goes, and we're going to try to get your stroke for swimming and your technique up.
Yeah.
I heard that perhaps you and PJ might do the Cannes swim run in October. Is a swim run something that you would work towards?
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I've not done too much of, even though I've done a lot of swimming and running individually. I've not done much of the kind of, not just one then the other, but one then the other over and over again. So that'd be something, that would be fun to get more involved in.
So just to give you an idea, right behind us is Cap Rockbroon, and Jenny's first and maybe only swim run she did with us and with Matteo around that cap, and that was kind of fun. It was kind of cool, but cooler weather, but it gave you an idea of what you might expect in Cannes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Jenny, so we're going to wish you tons of luck for the race, but we're going to be talking to you over the next few months, checking in, seeing how you're doing, and well done to you for choosing this distance. Good luck.
Thank you.
So what I really loved about this video, and even when I watch it again, I still get little knots in my stomach when I think about signing up for my Ironman as well, or anything like this, because today is all about goals and distances. And no matter what you choose, we really just want to encourage people, right, to get out there and try. And no matter what level you're at, you're always going to have like those little jitters of like, how is that going to unfold and things like that. So, Villa, I'm going to pass it back to you. Walk us through it. Like, how do we set these goals? How do we choose these distances?
Well, first off, I mean, in swimrun, there's not a rule book like in triathlon. It's not swept asphalt, and well, I think the Swedish rule book for triathlon is 209 pages long. In swimrun, you get a sheet of rules, which are basically stick to your partner and don't litter, and carry all your stuff to the finish line. And then you kind of get the race director's idea of a perfect swim run at that location. So it can be anything. I mean, full distance can be anything from like 20 kilometers up to, like, I saw one water race now being 250 kilometers. So just to grasp it and have an idea of the discussion going forward, I propose that long distance is from 30K up to just above the marathon distance. Middle distance is from 15K up to 29. Short distances are up to 14, and we have the super sprints that are up to 7K in total. So these are just my words for it. I mean, every organization have different words. Brecka calls it full and sprint distance. Attila calls it the World Series, the sprint and experience. Odyssey Swimrun in America calls it long course and short course. So I mean, you really have to check with the organization you are interested in racing at, what they call it. So, I mean, and apart from just choosing a distance that suits you, I would say if you're new to swim run, start with the short ones. I mean, short distances are still a great. It's not like, oh, uh, here's a little snippet of what you can get. It's still a full-on experience doing a shorter race than the longer race. I mean, if your body's not up to it, then why put yourself in that kind of pain and be prone to injury doing these long course swim runs? So if you're new to the game, stick with the short ones and build your way up and adapt over time. You don't go out run a marathon in your first run of the year. You go out and do maybe a 5K. So that's one thing to think about. How long are you able to push yourself and push your body? And I mean, this is just a adapt over time kind of thing. The other thing that you should think about is the percentages and the course profile. So what are the percentages? I mean, it can be 90% running, 10% swimming, talking time wise or in distance wise, and how many transitions there are, what type of running and swimming it is. Some races are city swim runs. You're doing a lot of asphalt running, which is fairly easy, I would say. And some are out in the outback doing like super hard technical trail running. So what are you excited about doing, and what's your swim run about? The same with the swimming. Are they in flat lakes? Are there currents? Are you out at sea? You have to think about what kind of location when picking a race that will suit you and your level of experience. And then, I mean, it's also you have to think about personal taste. If I got to choose, well, I love swimming, so obviously I would choose high percentages of swimming in the sea because I love swimming in the sea, and as little running as possible. But I mean, it's all up to you, and after you've chosen a race, then you can start to plan your training. And I mean, as Nancy said, I get super excited as well just hearing Jenny talk about signing up for a race. I mean, you get the jitters and you get like, oh, this perfect feeling. And keep that feeling and remember that feeling when you have signed up, because your training will get so much easier. So, back to you. So we can talk a little bit about that, Nancy.
Actually, one of the things I really like about those sprint distances, because as I said, I had this like I have to do endurance distances to show that I'm strong, and it's a really personal thing. It has I'm not competitive with other people, but one of the things I've really learned to appreciate about the sprint is that you can really go hard and give yourself like a full experience without having to put those hours in that you do for those long races. Like when Jenny was talking to me, I had flashbacks because I was able to train on the Ironman course in Nice, and it's very hilly. And I just learned to ride a bike. I'd never ridden a bike, and I had flashbacks to crying when it was snowing, and I was out on those long Sunday rides by myself. Um, so there's that moment, and the dedication of every Sunday getting those long bikes in. So sometimes you don't have the time, sometimes you just don't have the energy, you have life that's happening, and those shorter distance races are so rewarding, like on that level, I think. So those are
Yeah.
really good points that you made.
Yeah, and I mean, it's much easier to get a friend involved in doing a shorter race. I mean, I have so many more friends that I can call and say, "Hey, let's do 15K together." Then I can call and say, "Hey, let's do a marathon this Sunday." So I mean, the threshold
Yeah.
is probably lower to get into doing the shorter races. And as Jenny was talking about the fueling and hydration plan, uh, doing a shorter race, you don't need to carry like, I don't know how many gels I've had for the Atelier races, but I mean 20, 30 gels, and I mean you
Oh
have
my
to
god.
carry a lot of stuff with you doing the really long races. I mean 70K and upwards. So I mean it's just
Wow.
easier.
Yeah, the food and all that. There's so many different elements when you want to set a goal, and I think that what we've agreed on, that the biggest part is just setting the goal. Once
Yeah,
you once you determine what you want to do, once you start telling people, then it becomes real, and you really then start to see the other elements. I think it's important to listen to other people's feedback or experiences, but don't take on their angst. Don't take on what went wrong for them. Just set your goal, set something. It's never really going to feel comfortable, right? I mean, even if you are starting with a sprint, you're still going to feel the what you call that, like that race excitement. And that's great. That's what this is all about. And no matter how much experience you gain, you're still going to feel that going down the road. But those elements of like, how much time do you have to train? If you're, as you say, if you have to start looking at the food elements and how that's going to work in, do you have time for that? They're all part of the big picture. And the worst thing and the most uncomfortable thing is to set a goal that's just unrealistic, not because you can't set a good training plan, but because all the other elements that are required are not going to come into place right now or in the next few months. And with COVID, which is a real bummer, but things change and people are getting sick, and it affects how we train with our partners and do stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking the truth, sister, carrying on.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I hear there's
but
big news in
yeah,
the
I
south
was
of
just going to
France.
say there's some breaking news that kind of falls into this. If you have set some goals this year and you're looking to get your training up, no matter what level you are, I heard from Matteo Testa. Actually, Nicholas Ramirez contacted me and sent me a little message. So Nicholas started Envel, Team Envel in 2017 out of Sweden, and it was the world's first swimrun club. And it in 5 years, he's got 150 members. And what he really wanted to do, and what he tries to explain to people now, is that it's not just for elite athletes and swim runners, although they all seem to be wearing those blue and white jackets on the podium. But he's really trying to build community. And so what has happened, great news coming out of the south of France, is that he has teamed up with Matteo Testa of the Epic Blue Swim Run series. Matteo, actually, we had on one of our shows earlier. I think we were talking about getting over your fears of swimming. He's a great swimmer. So they have decided to kind of have a branch of Team Envel down here, and they are launching with a training weekend, the 1st of April to the 3rd. And the great part about it is that it's not just for French people. They really have an international dimension to what they're doing. They're, Germans, Austrians, like they know who their market is. The course is going to be in English, but the great part is it's accommodation and everything, but they're going to do 3 different locations. So the first day you'll be training in that visual you saw behind Jenny, Cap Roquebrune. The second day you're going to go over to Saint Jean Cap Ferrat, which is outside of Nice and around Beaulieu, which has some of the most expensive properties in the world. So you get to swim run around that. And the last day they're going to take you over to Italy, and you're going to swim run back through Italy into France, which these are great opportunities. Lots of hills, trails. The water is 15 degrees. It's really great right now. And the idea here is, again, they're really just trying to build community like we are. We're trying to get the word out there. We're trying to get friends. We're trying to train together. So I met up with Matteo in Monaco where we were working, and let's hear what he has to say about Team Envel coming to south of France. So we're here with Matteo, who has some breaking news from the swimrun world. Matteo, I think if it's true, you and Nicholas Ramirez are launching the south of France version of
Envel Team Swimrun, correct.
All right, so
we're ready.
This is very exciting, and you're going to launch it with training camp April 1st to 3rd down in Roquebrune, just about a kilometer here from Monaco.
Yeah, correct. So we named this camp Cap Martin Monaco because basically we're gonna cover all this area between the Italian border and Cap Ferrat. So all the camp, the people, they can enjoy and discover this area basically on 3 caps, so 3 points. We will organize this swim run course for technical training tips and
who is it for? Let's start with that. What level is it for?
It's for all levels. Basically, Nicola and myself, we're gonna split the groups, and we have other coaches with us. And depending on the individual levels, everyone will be in the correct group for all levels in terms of open water swimming or trail running.
Okay.
Basically, here this area offer a different course and different playground for all levels, for going up, going down from stairs and
Yeah,
trail running.
I think people don't realize how hilly and how many stairs are around this part of the
Yeah,
world.
there's stairs a lot around the whole village in Roquebrune, for example, above Monaco. And it's quite rocky. There is all the paths all around the caps, so Cap Ferrat and Cap Martin.
Okay. How about the swimming? What do you think about open water swimming here for people that want to get their training in before the season starts?
Well, open water swimming here is amazing. It's fantastic all around Monaco, both sides, especially also just past the border in Italy. There is a really wild area for swimming, and the seabed is so beautiful.
Okay, and
So-
what's the water temperature right now is about 15 degrees, so it's not
Right
too
now,
cold for
yes.
people. The great thing about what you guys are offering is you're having 3 days in 3 different places, so people aren't going to get bored with just training in Roquebrune. They're going to go to Beaulieu, which is just on the other side of Nice, and then we're going to go to Italy. And the other great thing is that each day there is going to be yoga at the end of the day for people to relax. So there's something for everybody, no matter what level. Then.
Correct. So what our aim is for the people to have a full experience and to be in team, to do all together, to share experience, to share the sport, the activity, but also at the end of the day having a relaxing with a yoga teacher, to do stretching and also to debrief after our day of training.
Okay. And so what does this mean for you and Nicholas? What are you guys hoping to achieve by opening sort of a branch of Team Envel down here? Who is it for you guys? What are you hoping to develop?
We really want to expand the swimrun community, especially to this area, and we want to embrace all the communities that can easily access this area. From Italians, people from Switzerland, Austria, all the other countries that it's very chilly in the winter. They can come to this area, discover the area, and really feel and understand that sport here is practicable all over the year, 365 days.
Yeah, and we're really lucky that you guys are doing this to help build the community down in this part, because I think in this part of France we still really need a strong base and a real sense of community. So we will keep in touch with you and see what's going on, how it develops. Thanks so much. It's so weird when you watch videos of yourself and how often you can like repeat a word like community, community, community. I didn't realize I kept saying that. But,
but I mean,
it is really, yeah.
it's what it's all about. I mean, that's why I got into swimrun from triathlon, because I mean, triathlon has a community, but you're still out there on the course alone. I mean, in swimrun, you really have the community. You have your partner and all the racers that you go along the course with. So I mean, this is
Yeah,
what's up, you know?
I just have to watch how I sometimes say things. But the really great thing, I did want to bring in that breaking news, is because for anyone that wants to try something or wants to get, just feeling apprehensive, this is a great opportunity. The weather here is fantastic, and by April, April is really starting summer weather. But it'll give you a chance to train with other people and be with all kinds of other levels. And you'll see that in that idea of community, people that are really elite and much stronger than you, they're going to talk to you. They're going to be friends with you. They're going to give you encouragement. And that's what it's all about. Especially when you look, just one thing to add, but there are a lot of stairs and hills. Everything is up here. And, I think it's important for new people in the sport to realize we don't all sprint up those things. There's walking involved. There's ways to kind of come up with how you can best tackle that on a race course. So yeah, I'm really happy that Nicholas is working with Matteo, two really nice guys down here, the English and French. And I love that. I love all the multilingualism of it all. So yeah, I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super stoked as well, even though I'm stuck here up in the cold north. Well,
I'll swim for you.
That's perfect. Well, to, I guess, end tonight's show, I would just like to say that if you are stoked and have signed up for a swimrun event, maybe your first, maybe your 50th, I don't know. comment below what swimrun you have signed up for, and I'll give you a free swim boost program, it says here, but I'll up that. I'll say I'll give you 12 weeks of training to get you race ready. All you need to do is like and comment which race you are heading to, and I will make a training program for you so you'll be in tip-top shape for that event. Well,
and also you'll be so muscular too. We're going to see
yeah,
muscular
by that
Villa
time I'm just gonna
by
be
training
like
time.
2 biceps with a tiny little head.
We're going to have to make the screen 2/3 you and 1/3 me, because you're going to be all muscle like Popeye.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Anyway, thank you all for this show, and until next time, see you guys.
Bye.